Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here on this channel I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of different musical, video and audio things that I pull out of the videos I watch. And today there's 2.5 feet of snow on my back deck. I've shoveled the drive 4 times in the last week, and therefore it seemed a good time to talk about something cold. Hence I'm taking a look at a Frozen medley. Specifically the one by Peter Hollens featuring Colleen Ballinger. I do not know Colleen, she is new to my channel. So I have no real concept of what to expect here other than some awesome music and a very cool arrangement. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. I haven't checked in on Peter since Halloween, so nice to have a video of his. And I'm interested to see what Colleen brings to one of his medleys. Frozen, of course, I feel like needs no introduction. If you haven't seen it, you are in a minority. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're definitely in a minority, I think. And I'm sure you've heard some of the music because it is absolutely ubiquitous, and deservedly so. It's remarkable. Maybe got overplayed for a little while back there. And maybe you still think it is. I don't. I will confess I didn't see Frozen for a little while because I was at a point where if something blew up too quickly, I would buck that trend and not see it, so I didn't see Frozen, despite the fact that everybody kept telling me how good it is, and then a few years later I did, and I got it. It's amazing. It's such a good movie. Came out back in 2013. Of course, the sequel came out whenever it came out. I forget what year that was released, actually. But Frozen 1 stands the test of time to this day. Amazing animation, fantastic music, and just a really brilliant movie, I think. I really, really like it. The score for this was composed by Christoph Beck, and the songs were written by Kristen, Anderson-Lopez and Robert Lopez, and the awards accumulated between the three of them numerous, and rightly so. One thing I discovered while just checking in on this that I thought was really cool, Robert Lopez became the youngest person ever to win an EGOT, which is somebody who has an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. There's only 21 of them in the world, and he is the youngest at 39 years and 1 week at the point that he won for Let It Go, and that sealed his EGOT, which is quite remarkable. Pasek and Paul were just behind him. I think one of them was 39 and 2 months, but he remains to this day, 12 years later, still the youngest person to do it. He's also, out of those 21 individuals, the only double EGOT, which he locked down when he won the Oscar for Remember Me from Coco. That gave him the second round of those 4 awards, so that's extraordinary. And of course, continued to rack them up. Now with his wife Kristen, with I think most recently maybe Agatha All Along. I think that might be the most recent one. Got an Emmy for best original song. Or I forget the exact order of all the awards. Anyway, kind of remarkable, and this set of songs goes a long way towards proving the skill of Robert and Kristen working together. So yeah, that's kind of awesome. And that's probably about all I've got to say on this, really. We've seen Peter on the channel before. Colleen's new. Frozen is frozen and everywhere. And it's snowing and cold. And I think it's minus 12, feels like minus 25 outside right now, which isn't terrible for Toronto. We can go a lot colder than that, but for where we're at right now and for getting that cold for the first time of the year, it's definitely very chilly. So yes, with that, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way this works, I'm going to watch this through from beginning to end. I will comment and emote over the top, and I will then go back, watch it a second time, this time pausing and interrupting and offering what commentary and analysis I feel I can, based on what I've just seen and heard and the foreknowledge of the one prior viewing. Please do like this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and if you would care to support the channel, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can also contribute to my current goal of getting myself an Adobe subscription after I lost mine, so I can keep editing on really good software. You can go to patreon.com/DavidKReacts, or you can leave a super thanks here on YouTube, and any of those would be very gratefully appreciated. And I think that's about all there is to it, so without any further delay, let's jump in and check out the epic Frozen medley by Peter Hollens featuring Colleen Ballinger.
Do you want to build a snowman?
The door.
Come on, let's go and play. I never see you anymore. Come out the door.
I love this
It's
bell
like you've
chord
gone
backing.
away. We used to be best buddies, and now we're not. I wish you would tell me why. Do you want to build
Gorgeous
a
voice for this.
snowman? Doesn't have to be
Oh,
a
that chord.
snowman.
Woo!
Okay, bye.
Tonight, imagine me gown and all, fetchingly draped up against the wall. The picture of sophisticated
Oh, she's got a fabulous voice, too.
grace. I suddenly see him standing there, a beautiful stranger, tall and fair. I want to stuff some chocolate in my face, but then we laugh and talk all evening, which is totally bizarre. Nothing like the life I've led so far. For the first time in forever.
Oh, lovely harmonizing between the two. Their voices go really well together.
There'll be fun. For the first time in forever, I could be noticed by someone.
Ooh.
And I know
Oh, that's
it's
nice.
totally crazy to dream I'd find romance, but for the first time in forever, at least I've got a chance.
Peter's voicing in this is really good.
I mean, it's crazy.
What?
We finish each other's.
Sandwiches.
That's what I was gonna say.
I've never met someone who thinks so much like me. Jinx! Jinx again!
Our mental
What's going on at the bottom?
can have but one explanation. You
And I
were
just meant to
be.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye
to the pain of the past. We don't have to feel it anymore. Love is an open door. Love is an open door. Life can be so
Ooh,
much
there's
more
some really interesting stuff going on in the backing of this as well.
with you.
There's going to be a lot to talk about here. I love the lighting work in this.
Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be.
Oh, I love
Conceal,
taking this
don't
back,
feel, don't
making it a
let
little
them
quieter than it is in the movie. It's really cool.
know. Well, now they know.
Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. Here I stand in the light of day.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Lovely work on that.
Storm rage on.
Ooh.
The cold never bothered me anyway.
Oh,
Hollens family, thank
fantastic.
you guys so much for watching this amazing video with Colleen. And if you don't know Colleen, you have to go check out her channels. I will put them both right here.
Aw, thanks.
She is absolutely amazing. Not only is she incredibly talented,
Epic thumbnail,
at the
Colleen.
singing kind that you just heard, but she has a phenomenal character, and I fell in love watching her. And you have to go watch her. And if you are all over the world, she will be touring all over
Yes,
the world.
I will be. I'm on tour, so come see me live.
And I will put some
This
of
is
that
10 years
information
old,
down
so
below, how to check out
probably not.
her tour. And if you like the song, all the links to purchase it will be down below.
Buy it, do it, so you can listen to it all the days.
Amazing. And thank you guys so much at Patreon for supporting this content and letting me come down to LA and film this with Colleen. You guys are amazing. You are amazing. I
You are
truly
amazing.
appreciate it.
I appreciate you. You're the best.
And huge thanks to 15 Films for filming this. Love you guys. And I will see you soon. If you have any other things that you want me to sing, let me know down below in the comments section.
Yes, do it.
Bye.
Great job, Riley and Mackenzie, 5th Gen. Awesome seeing their work yet again. That was so good. I love what they did with that. The harmonies in there are gorgeous. Really nice voicing and use of the backing Peters. I think he created a really, really nice soundscape there that kind of was evocative of the film, but also very much did his own thing, and I appreciate that. Yeah, that's phenomenal. It's a really happy arrangement too. Like, it's very, he keeps the energy going the whole way through and keeps it. There's a lot of levity to it, and I really appreciate that. I think that's fantastic. This is great. Let's go back, watch this again, and see what I can pull out of here. Because there's. Oh, actually, just before I do, just going to see if there's any other information in the description. Okay, so quick check has confirmed a couple of things. It was this was recorded by Ed Boyer, which doesn't surprise. Oh, sorry, not recorded, mixed by Ed Boyer, which doesn't surprise me. Ed's mixing is fantastic. Mastered by Bill Hare. I'm pretty sure I've seen that name too. And mastering is such an incredible skill. It's one I have no knowledge of. I can do the most basic mastering known to man, but it can really elevate the quality of a recording. Arrangement by Tom Anderson, which is interesting. Great job, Tom. This is a fantastic arrangement. Edit by Russell Camp, which I appreciate too. I think the editing of this was really, really good. There's some really fun bits that we'll talk about in a minute. And one thing I did also catch was that Colleen was recorded by Ben Bram, who does a lot of work with pentatonics as well. And so really cool to see that name pop up as well. So yeah, this is fantastic. Let's go back and watch it again and see what I can pull out. Okay, my usual immediate stop. I love how the borders change throughout this. We keep this concept of the panels with the multiple Peters at the bottom and then the larger screen for what we're supposed to be focusing on. But here we have this really kind of like snowy, sort of broken up borderline, which I think is really, really cool. I love the choice of font and coloration that he's used as well. All of these things really important because this is the first thing you see when you watch this. And yes, we're hearing, but we're also watching. If you're not just listening to this on a CD, if you're watching this on YouTube, visuals are critical. And I really, really like that. And this idea that there's kind of like these icy mottled looks with like the white text having a bit of blue on it and vice versa. Really, really effective for introducing this piece. I love this arpeggiated introduction with these broken up chords, do 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 do, rather than having block chords or something like that. It gives us a push straight from the outset, but also there is something about this sound that kind of says winter to me a little bit. And I'm not quite sure what that is, but I think it was a very, very smart choice for the beginning of this arrangement. So yeah, really, really cool. Great work, Tom. And interesting, I'm just listening to that, we have 3 different sounds there, because we have the do, 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 and more of a do, do. It's more of a do. It's not a full do. So you have 2 different consonant things, and then just this boom, 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 coming down the bottom with a much softer sound, but it's still supporting everything that's going on above it. It's a more intricate beginning than, on first blush, you might necessarily pick up on.
Wanna build a snowman.
And again, that choice to go, ah! Nope, I can't even get there today. I'm a bit of a cold. But that hitting that top note there as sort of like a bell before the actual lyrics start, it kind of readjusts and you go, oh, okay. And it brings your attention back to the arrangement before something else happens, which I think is a great choice. Even the bass, dum 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 dum, wherever it goes up. Like there's a sudden jump up from the pattern that we've had. The whole chord pulls up and moves up in the register, and so it's a different sound to what we've been listening to, and I think that's really cool. I also love this choice of representing the door. Because, of course, in the movie, Anna sings this to Elsa through the door because the two don't meet for years. And, of course, the one thing that's missing from this is the little knock that she does. But actually, I like that they didn't include that. I think it's... out of context, it feels a little stranger. Hearing somebody do this in karaoke and having that knock, you're like, what? You don't need the knock. It's a little strange. So I like the fact that he took that out. Let's talk costuming for a second. Because that's a strong part of this video. You have the 3 Peters down below with the hoodie and the scarf. Makes total sense. And then you have skiing Peter? Snowblind Peter? Something. With these the goggles and the gloves on. Indoors! Because this is indoors, and probably very comfortable in the castle in Arendelle. But I love the fact that that's how he's chosen to costume himself for to sing Anna here. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And yet you have this, quite simply dressed Colleen, which is just the contrast of, the beret and a nice top to this outdoor winter gear. And I like it because, do you want to build a snowman? Do you want to go outside and get cold? And Anna, or Peter, is prepped for that. And I like that. I think there's a smart little bit of storytelling there, but also it's quite comical, just because it's so extreme. I really, really like that counterpoint.
Do you want to build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play.
This choice. Not to go do 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 and just keep going do 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 and hold a chord. That's such a lovely texture, and it doesn't happen when you think it might. You could have sort of held chord. Do you want to build a snow? Do 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 do. Come on, let's go and play. Do 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 do. And you could do it that way around, where the busy part is while I'm going to carry on with my naming convention. Peter Prime is not singing. And then you have motion in the melody, motion in the accompaniment. But what they're doing here, what Peter's chosen, or what Tom has chosen rather, with this arrangement that Peter's performing, is having all the busy stuff happen at once so that we can sit on that chord. And it creates an expectation. It's an anticipation. I thought of that joke halfway through and had to deliver it. Sorry. But it's the fact that we're leaving those long chords. It's giving Elsa, Colleen, time to respond, and of course she doesn't. But I think that's a really smart choice to ask the question while it's busy. There's the frantic energy of young Anna being really excited to go out and build a snowman, contrasting with Elsa kind of depressed and not able to join in and wishing she could, but knowing she can't. And I think that representation in the music is fabulous.
Come on, let's go and play. I never see you anymore. Come out the door. It's like you've gone away.
Oh, some beautiful work in the harmony there.
Come out the door. It's like you've gone
do, 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 do. Coming through nice and clean there, giving us a little motion,
away.
which allows that do, 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 to just be in the background, not as powerful as the do-do-do, which was a bit more pushed. This is a little more in the background, but you're just a little bit more aware of it because we've been set up to listen to that by having that sudden push of that one little section. And it's really smart because it allows us to take in that harmony in a way that doesn't detract away from what Peter's actually doing.
Anymore, come out the door. It's like you've gone away. We used to be best buddies, and now we're not. I wish you would tell me why.
Two lovely reasons for what he's doing harmonically here. We're moving on in the musical arrangement. It makes sense for there to be a change at that point in time and to build, but there's also the emotional build as Anna starts to get, not exactly frustrated, but the disappointment starts coming through, and there is a frustration in the I wish you would tell me why, because she doesn't understand why Elsa's not coming out and playing with her anymore. And I think the choice of having the harmony shift into these more block chords, more oohs, less percussive onsets, really, really smart.
You've gone away. We used to be best buddies, and now we're not. I wish you would tell me.
And it makes things like that ba, when you hit that ba a little bit harder in the middle of all of this, it gives it a little point of interest, but it doesn't take away from the fact we're still building up to this. I wish you would tell me why.
Best buddies, and now we're not. I wish you would tell me why. Do you?
And that's so good. The da 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 da, and the hit there coming out of the do's we're used to. It's a sound we haven't had yet. And it's all of them sharply together. Really kind of brings us back into the, this is the end of that thought. Now we're going back to do you want to build a snowman? And it's kind of like all the energy has been spent. And it's peaked with that da right there. And I think that's fantastic. I really like that.
I wish you would tell me why. Do you want wanna build a snowman? Doesn't
Oh, those chords are so crunchy. The voicing in this is fantastic. You could have spread those out a little bit more and they might have given a thicker texture, but here we have this really crunchy one that's just so good because it really works with the sort of confusion and the disappointment that Anna's experiencing. We get that we don't get a satisfying thicker sound, but also it's just that tight harmony there is so beautiful, having had these wider spread broken chords up to this point in time. Really, really nice work. And Peter's blending with himself so well in the harmony. Also, he just got a lovely voice singing high. Like I've always said this in his videos. His upper register is brilliant.
you wanna build a snowman? Doesn't have to be a snowman.
Oh, so crunchy. So crunchy. That's fantastic. I'd forgotten there was a second one of those.
Doesn't have to be a snowman. Okay, bye.
I love that choice too, to start singing okay a fraction of a second before the harmony disappears. Really, really lovely. It just fades away and just before it's gone completely. I often like silence, but I think the choice there to come in just before we hit it is brilliant.
Okay, bye.
And that choice, visually, to have him fall through the door is fantastic. It's such a great gag because it looks like he's going to just slump against the door. And instead he just carries on, but doesn't appear through the other side. That's so good.
Okay, bye.
And it's not difficult to have this very sharp change. And there's a couple of things about this I really like. Firstly, the color changes, very, very simple. We go from the blue to the green and the blue to the maroon color. Lovely shift there. But also Colleen's entrance. You could expect her to come on in the other square that she was inhabiting before. And instead, she comes right back into the square Peter was just in, which is a really, it's a nice little gag. It's tiny, but it gives us something we didn't expect, especially because Peter was falling towards the other square. He disappears. You expect Colleen to come into that space because that's where the eyes have just been drawn, and instead she comes in from the other side. Really smart movement. We've now added an extra Peter. It's like our Peter we were just watching fell into the harmony, which is a nice little touch as well. But yeah, this is great. Really like this, and I like now that we still have this frosted look. Which here was all-encompassing. Now it's starting to fade a little, and we have these visible bars and things like that as we shift into the new look. And there we go. It's almost completely gone now into this. And what I love is we go into something that now has percussion added into it. So we've upped the ante a little bit, which is nice because we're going into a song that deserves that more. You don't want that really for Do You Want to Build a Snowman? Not heavily anyway. But also we've moved from do to ba. So we have a more open sound. It's a bit more inviting. It's implying that this is going to be more upbeat than what we just had, which is lovely. Oh, sorry, it's va. I beg your pardon. Va or fa. I'm not sure which, but I can't quite tell if he's voicing that. If you don't know, by the way, voiced and unvoiced consonants f and v are exactly the same motion in your mouth and air production. It's just one f is just air, and the other one v, you've engaged the vocal cords. That's what I mean when I say unvoiced and voiced consonants. If it's unvoiced, it's s, f, t. If it's voiced, it's z, v, d. Same sounds, voice or not. Anyway, all that phonetics to one side for a moment. Let's get back to this.
Tonight, imagine me gown and all, fetchingly draped up against the wall, the picture of sophisticated grace.
Some interesting things going on here. Firstly, Colleen's voice is gorgeous here. I think she's got a great voice to sing Anna. Really lovely. I just caught something that's going on in the bass that I love.
Tonight.
So there, up to that point, we have this kind of da 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 da, and that's what the bass is doing. It's doing bum 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 bum. That seems to be the rhythm. And indeed, I think there's two, look, going by Peter's visuals here, there's two of him singing that. But then we get this.
Tonight, imagine the gown and all, fetchingly draped up against the wall. The picture.
Yeah, he's singing bum, 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 bum. It's this really broken up bass line. It's not consistent. So the bass almost that's consistent is coming out of the percussion. So we have a different tone here that completely contrasts what we just had because we've got into a new song. And I really like that. So there's multiple levels in which we've changed it up.
I'd imagine the gown and all, fetchingly draped up against the wall. The picture of sophisticated grace. I suddenly see him.
Oh, what was that?
Sophisticated grace. I suddenly see him standing there.
It sounded like suddenly. No, not there. Suddenly I... like really high up there. I'm not quite sure if that's what he sang or not, but I love that there's that da 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 comes through at that point. Just gives us a little bit of something as we move into the second half of the verse. Really, really nice work. And now, of course, we change the texture of the harmony as well.
Grace. I suddenly see him standing there, a beautiful stranger, tall and fair.
So now we've gone from but. So we've got this but. And we've got these long notes all of a sudden. It totally changes the sound. And because there's two of them, I think we have a perfect fifth. We have ba going on at the same time. We have this, there's a rich texture to that bass that we haven't heard yet. So it's giving us another point of interest. And because it's deep and resounding, it's giving a warmth to this that I think is really, really nice. And one thing I also want to mention while I've stopped is I absolutely love, I've always said how expressive Peter is. His face does a lot. Colleen's expressions in this are incredible as well. She's performing this really, really well and kind of giving this lovely sort of cheeky look to Anna at this point in time that I really, really like.
I suddenly see him standing there, a beautiful stranger, tall and fair. I want to stuff some chocolate in my face. But then we laugh and talk all evening, which is...
I keep talking about it, but the harmonic texture in this arrangement is superlative from beginning to end. Tom, you've done an incredible job arranging this. Really, really like what's going on here. We've now changed. We've got this kind of going on in the background, longer chords being held through. The voicing is shifting. It's not always a particular voice that it's holding chords on. It's moving around a little bit, and I really like that too.
My face. But then we laugh and talk all evening, which is totally bizarre. Nothing like the life I've led so far.
And I love the choice to bring in harmony into this. I think it's really good. Fantastic, as I said, like the voices blend together so well, Peter and Colleen. I think they really match nicely, and it was a lovely choice to bring that in at this point because we hit this for the first time in forever. There'll be magic, there'll be fun, this is going to be awesome, and adding that extra voice in there gives that strength, and I think it really it's working very much to the benefit of the lyrics, which is fantastic.
Nothing like the life I've led so far. For the first time in forever, there'll be magic, there'll be fun.
And now we have this really, really thick legato, like long-noted harmony that's going on here with this halftime percussion. It's giving it a real sense of this is a moment to sit into and to really kind of like eat up. And this is the dream right now. This is going to be magic. This is going to be amazing. It was really, really emphasized by the arrangement, which is fantastic.
There'll be magic, there'll be fun. For the first time in forever, I could be noticed by someone.
Also, a lot of range going on in the harmony too. We have these really high notes. There's boom, boom, like there's some depth going on there in Peter's voice, which is really, really nice. So his harmony is really showing off the range that he has, because he has a fantastic range, and it's great to hear it here. And he doesn't overplay his hand. It's there, and if you listen for it, you can hear it. But also, it's just a really good support for what we're supposed to be focusing on, which is the lyrics and the melody. It doesn't overpower those at any given moment, because that's not what he's trying to do with these arrangements. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily, and this is also excellent mixing on Ed's part. You could have the harmony kind of show off a bit too much for an arrangement like this, and of course it doesn't. It's beautifully managed.
I could be noticed by someone, and I know it's totally crazy to dream I'd find romance, but for the first...
I like that. I know it's totally crazy. You have this diddle-lip, diddle-lip, diddle-lip. It's this sort of slightly frantic feeling, which I think it's not actually making her sound crazy. It's making her sound a little bit kind of, those sort of overexcited jitters is the vibe that gives me, which I think is really nice, because we then pull back into the calmness. We're not going to a tenser place. We're just highlighting the fact that she's kind of like that kind of point of where she's going with this. And it's demonstrated really nicely in the music. There's a lot of musical storytelling going on here. There's a strong narrative in this video, despite the fact that the songs are kind of, obviously being pulled together from different places in the movie, and I appreciate that. I think it's great.
To dream I'd find romance, but for the first time in forever.
And that choice right there to remove that border and have them looking at each other, I don't know if they were, or if this is like combined green screen. It's difficult. I would not be surprised if they weren't in the same place. But removing that border is so simple, but it's just, somehow it's like, it changes the vibe of how that song has felt, knowing that they were that close all the time. And it's also a lovely kind of shift from the previous interaction, where it's two people through a door that doesn't ever open. I think there's some really, really nice evolution of the storytelling here.
I'm in forever. At least I'm
Also, lovely harmony there.
in forever.
Dum dum that sudden pickup there. I'm not sure how far he goes with that, how low he starts, how much it climbs up, but that's a really nice motion leading up to that final climactic hit there.
At least I've got a chance.
That shift is great, actually.
I've got a chance.
Boom, boom. It feels like it should be far more abrasive of a change than it actually is, and I really like that. I think that's an excellent transition right there. And of course, we go into a totally different tone of song. We don't know yet in the narrative, spoilers if you haven't seen Frozen, we don't know yet in the narrative that Hans of the Southern Isles is a terrible human being, so we have this really charming song that is kind of sung between ostensibly two goofballs. Of course, we learn that that's not the case. But I love the change of tone here, and I think that this shift to now we have Peter interacting with glitter foliage. 1% of me feels like it distracts from the main screen, but also he's done exactly the right thing in the editing. Oh goodness, I forget the editor's name. I said it at the beginning and now it's gone. But sorry, I'll put it up here. But he's done exactly the right thing of keeping the main screen big and also a more vibrant color. This light blue kind of attracts your eye more with the motion that's going on over it than the red does with the silver over the front, which means your eye is still drawn. Even you might get distracted for a moment, but you are drawn back to the main screen. And I like that. I think this is a really good choice for how to represent this, and I love the gags that we've got coming up.
At least I've got a chance.
I mean, it's crazy.
What?
We finish each other's
Sandwiches.
That's what I was gonna say.
I never met
Is he singing blub in the harmony? It sounds like blub, 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 blub.
It's crazy.
What?
We finish each other's.
Sam.
I think he might be, and that's hilarious. Seeing what sounds work in harmony is extraordinary, and this is kind of giving us almost like a raindrop water vibe going on, like icicles dripping down or something like that. I don't know. I'm reaching here, but it's a really cool sound because it's different again from what we've had up till this point. The blur, it's not b, which would be a bit more aggressive. The blur, which I'm 90% sure is what he's singing here, gives it a softer onset to the vowel rather than being a more kind of plosive onset, which I think is really, really nice because we're still allowing ourselves that little push, but it's not too harsh, which is lovely for this song.
I mean, it's crazy.
What?
We finish each other's.
Sandwiches.
That's what I was gonna say.
I've never met someone who thinks so much like me. Jinx! Jinx again!
He must have had so much fun, like, recording this video, because it's just, there's so much goofiness going on, whilst you have this very kind of awkward and yet very endearing musical conversation going on above. There's a lovely contrast here.
I've never met someone who thinks so much like me. Jinx! Jinx again!
Our mental synchronization can have but one explanation.
That's a really nice choice to have the da 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 represented in the harmony. It gives a little bit of weight to what is a very cool lyric and bit of scansion there. I've talked on the channel before. If you check out my music that inspired me on Leave It to Us Gov from Baker Street, I mention it there as well. Being able to fit a multi-syllabic phrase in and not only rhyme it, but rhyme it and scan it well as well, like mental synchronization. That's a 7-syllable phrase. And being able to have that and then match it.
Our mental synchronization can have but one explanation.
It sounds so natural. And, it's not the hardest thing in the world to do, but it's a very satisfying thing when you do it. And it's such a lovely lyric. And the way that they're playing with it in enhancing that by having the harmony sing that rhythm clearly underneath is really nice.
Again, our mental synchronization can have but one explanation. You
And I
were
just meant to
be.
See,
That I always thought was a really clever bit of lyric writing. You and I, but because he's pointing to her, Anna was meant to be. Anna and Hans weren't. Really clever bit of lyric writing there. Very, very cool. And not just lyric writing, but the choice of assigning those lyrics so that you and I were always meant to be logical sentence. But when somebody else says the word you, changes the meaning completely.
You
and I
were
just meant to be. Say goodbye.
I do enjoy left of the screen Peter getting really ticked at all the foliage being poked at him. He's kind of got the vibe of you're expecting a walking stick to come in a moment and just yank him off screen.
You
And I
were
just meant to be. Say goodbye.
Say goodbye
to the pain of the past. We don't have to feel it anymore.
Oh, the harmonic rhythm there. Dun 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 dun. Whatever it is, like there's a real kind of like syncopated push here.
Pain of the past. We don't have to feel it anymore. Love is an open.
And I love the ho 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 no more. Great choice, because you're essentially getting oh 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 oh, like it's the same thing 5 times, but you add the no more at the end of it. It's that's so good.
We don't have to feel it anymore. Love is an open.
Oh, hang on, is it?
We don't have to feel it anymore. Love
Yeah.
is an open door.
And then we get the up there in the top, just kind of keeping the arrangement moving. We've got these long notes in the melody, so the harmony goes wild underneath it. It's great stuff.
Love is an open door. Love is an open door. Life can be so much more with you.
with you,
With you.
with you.
Oh, they managed it. This arrangement combined with Peter's performance have managed this so very well. You have these lovely long notes, these little gags that with you going on over the top of it. Underneath it, this really complicated harmony line. And what's so great is, yes, you know, I know where the song's going. You probably know where the song's going too. When we cut back to that dum 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 dum, but it's not necessarily easy, even if you know it's going there, to perform it in a way that transitions back to it again so cleanly. And I think that's what really impressed me about this, is throughout this arrangement, but in this song in particular, he's able to shift in and out of different pacing so smoothly.
With you, love's an open door.
Also, I love that the choice to have that little glottal onset at the end, just to kind of give it a little bit of an extra push on that final note. Really, really nice. It's not a criticism, but this is a slightly less effective transition than the others that we've seen so far. But it's also really hard because you're moving into the central, like the sort of introductory vibe of a minor song in what has been a very upbeat arrangement to this point. And sure, this is going to pick up, but starting in on this point, always really, really difficult. And that's why I say it's not a criticism, because I think this is actually very clean. But the transitions up to this point have been so slick. This one just stands out just a tiny bit. But then also, it kind of needs to. Look at the difference between these colours and these colours. It's immense. It's a totally different vibe. I love this choice. We've gone now... Firstly, I love that we have the different goofy... We have a crown, we have the full... I don't even know what you call those hats, but the ones with the flap. I feel like I should know that. In fact, I do know that. I just can't bring it to mind. And then you have like the newsboy cap and the beanie, or toque, or whatever you want to call it, depending on where you come from. Really nice choice to have 4 different Peters. Excellent choice to desaturate the colour so much. I think it's really, really good. It's almost giving me that vibe of, I was talking about Agatha All Along earlier. If you haven't seen the TV series Agatha All Along, go and watch it. It's fantastic. But there's one moment, and this is a 5-second mini spoiler. There's one moment where you see Agatha as she was in the 1950s first episode of WandaVision, but everything around her's in full colour. And she's just black and white, and it's so effective. And I feel like this is kind of that vibe. We've got this drained colour in both the 4 Peters and in Colleen, and I think that's a really, really smart choice, because it takes all that excitement away for a hot second. And even though we're going to build up to the big finish, we don't have it right now. Oh, the fade too, the fade of the blue. I missed that. I was so busy focusing on the different Peters. That's a nice crossfade. Notice he's hitting these hard. The d is quite powerful, so there's a lot of emphasis here on the rhythm of this accompaniment.
Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the...
It's interesting going straight in here. I think it's a really nice place to pick this up for the purposes of a medley. But it's interesting because we've just had this very minor entry to the song and then immediately push into a slightly more hopeful, yes, she's repressing herself in these lyrics, but you could feel the musicality leaning towards what she actually wants to do, essentially, which is be free, be herself.
Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go.
Lovely harmony leading through that. I wanted to listen to all of that. That's so good.
Conceal, don't feel, don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the...
I love this go. Don't let them see. I realize he's singing don't, obviously. But the slow lyric in the background being held through whilst we have a more percussive thing going on at the same time.
Good girl, you always have to
But notice it's not dum anymore, it's dum. It's just a little bit less pushed, which is nice.
be concealed, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know.
And that choice there to have "don't let them know," and he holds that on through rather than adding an additional lyric over the "well, now they know." Fantastic stuff.
Well, now they know.
Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it
And again, he's doing it, "oh, anymore," like adding in that lyric right at the end of the line. We've kind of got that same vibe going on, but it's changed now. We've got the percussion added in. Everything, the tone of it is a little bit more balladic, and a little. We've lost that element of it being held back now. As should happen at this point in the song. It's all out there, and I really, really like this shift.
go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go.
And what's interesting to me now is it's the bass that has the motion. Bum, 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 bum. It's like that's a line that hasn't had. It's done stuff like the bum, 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 bum. Like there's stuff he's had in the bass line, but this is the first time it's really kind of driving the motion away from other than the melody. Really cool.
Back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. Here I stand in the light.
Oh, this is so good. I love that you bring Colleen in there. I was a bit surprised when it cut from her to Peter, because I was like, is she not going to but she absolutely takes it here. Absolutely fantastic harmony throughout, but having the two of them harmonizing the primary line right now, as well as all the Peters underneath, this is so good.
Here I stand in the light of day.
Oh, I love that line.
In the light of day.
Day, or whatever, day. Like he falls down there. That's a really nice line down. Oh, and the harmony underneath. Yeah, sure, it's the harmony, but the way that he's voiced it and the way it is introduced in the vocals is so good.
The light of day. Let the storm rage on.
The cold never bothered me anyway.
Oh, it's so good, and I love that little confident smile just at the end there as we fade away.
Me anyway.
There's a lot of this where she's sort of spent time being a little unsure or a little excitable, but not the security isn't there. The eyebrows are up. It's kind of giving us a little bit of where insecurity in the characters, both Elsa and Anna. And then you get that the eyebrows drop. There's the nice little smile there. That's beautiful, lovely little bit a shot to end on here, and then we cut out. And actually, I'm gonna say, much as they come in immediately with their talking, I've talked about this with all of Peter's videos, I feel like he has a tendency to come in too fast after his songs have ended. This is actually really nice. I feel like even though it is very quick, he's left it long enough in this one. So just wanted to give credit where credit's due for that. But yeah, this absolutely phenomenal. I think they did such a good job of that. They produced the sounds of these songs so well, everybody involved in them. It's a great arrangement. It's beautiful performances by these two. The mixing and everything that goes on after that is fantastic. And they produced a really compelling video to go with it as well, and I think it's a nice length. Like having a 3-minute 40-second medley of so many songs, I think really, really effective. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that. That was exactly what I needed. An excellent arrangement of excellent music performed by two extraordinarily capable performers. I thought they did that so very well. The handoffs between the two of them were great. The transitions between the music were great. I really, really enjoyed that. And I think what Peter did with it and what Tom did with the arrangement, I think actually created a strong narrative throughout, which I wasn't expecting. Sure, it doesn't quite work that way because it's different characters performing the different songs, but you have to be able to make it work in your own video. And the fact that a song that is just sung by Anna was being sung by both of them, for example, or that Let It Go, Peter took over for a point, they're clearly not trying to represent Elsa and Anna and Hans. They're just saying, you know, I noticed in the description, actually, as I closed the video down, they mentioned who sang each song. That's not them trying to be those people, that's just a recognition of who sang it in the show, or in the movie. So I think you need to make your music video make sense as well, and I think they did a really, really good job of that. That was fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it as well. As always, I have forgotten to say, but there's a link to the original in the description. Go support Peter, and I'll put Colleen's channel there too, if I can find it. I think I saw it in the description. But I hope that I brought you something. If it was Peter or Colleen or both, great. Or if it was just this song that they did, great. Or maybe you've seen this a bunch and I was able to point out one small thing that made you go, oh, that's really cool. I realize now why I like that. That's what I'm trying to do. So if I manage that at all, then I'm a very, very happy man. But I really appreciate the time you spend with me. It means a lot, so thank you. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you would care to support me, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, and there you can leave a one-off donation of any amount you choose. Or you can click on my wish list and contribute to my current wish list item, which is a subscription to Adobe Premiere Pro. I lost mine recently. I had access to one that I don't anymore, and so I need to get that going, and some assistance there would be very helpful. But no pressure, of course. You can also head to patreon.com/DavidKReacts, where you can sign up for $2 or $4 Canadian, or your regional equivalent, and that's just to ongoing support of the channel, essentially. It does give you access to my Discord. There's some awesome people over there. And in the future it will do more. I'm just not quite there yet. Life is still very, very hectic, and I'm working towards calming that down so I can devote a little more time to this. You could also leave a super thanks here on YouTube. Any of those would be very, very gratefully received if you choose to do them, but again, no pressure. Also, if you join my Patreon and become a patron of mine, you will have your name added to the wonderful list of names that you see here who are my current supporters. Thank you all so much for your continued support. That's everything for now. I will be back, I hope, with another video next week. I am going to be away, but I'm hoping to get something pre-recorded before I go. It's a bit hectic because it's a business trip, so I might not make it, but I'm hopeful. So, yes, thank you for being here. Have an absolutely wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, tea time, I don't know, brunch. What are we going for? Let's go for 10:03 a.m. See if someone's watching this in the morning. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.